Today, the 9th of July, 2025, one day before our 52nd anniversary. And all I can say is we had the worst leaders in the history of the Caribbean. I don't think they even consider us in the Caribbean anymore. We are there on the Atlantic Ocean all by ourselves. And I'll tell you how bad it's been in 52 years. All them that was hating Menace, I think they bring about 9 or 7 more of those weightless FNMs that did nothing. One of them got 17 million for the drones. So I guess he gonna bust up whatever he took from the 17 million. So he's back. 5 years, what did he do in 5 years when he didn't have that power? They might as well bring Menace back because Pintard is being led like a goat or sheep to the slaughter. And 52 years, 3 weeks ago, as an example, we just have a new police chief. Not police chief. We do have a new police chief, but we had a new Commodore of the Defense Force, brand new. And I saw some activities on my flight tracker. I see this plane, so I contacted the pilot. I said, what's going on over Sandy Point? This plane is making some dives, and they're over one area in Sandy Point. They've been there for an hour and a half. So that's a United States military plane, and they have been circling. They don't know why they're circling. I said, now going on 3 hours. The plane, the Americans, came from Miami, and they circled over Sandy Point for 3 hours. There was approximately over 100 Haitians on this boat. The Americans spotted. And good thing they had plenty fuel. It took the Bahamian idiots 3 hours to find what the Americans knew 3 hours later. It reminded me of Hurricane Dorian. Everybody, people from Norway, England, all over was on the ground. The Defense Force came a week later, said it's too rough. It's too rough. But it wasn't rough that day. They apprehended 64 of the hundreds Haitians that were on the boat. I don't know where that boat came from, but it's a disgrace 52 years later that 100 people could march right up the gizzard of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas with all the graduations, all the ceremony that we have about all these officers. And collectively, the Haitians sailed from Haiti right in the front of the police station in Marsh Harbor 1 year. I said, boy, we got it bad. How could a boat doing 5 knots? We got over $100 million worth of hardware. And these brothers sail a sailboat with T-shirts for flag, for sail. They put their clothes together and make a flag, and they flew 400 miles from Inagua right into the Marsh Harbor, undetected. Fast forward 3 weeks ago, 100 persons on the ground in Sandy Point, and the Americans knew, and the Defense Force got 100 to 300 Marines right in one place in Nassau, where apparently the boat came from, and they couldn't spot the boat. And after 3 hours of American surveillance, these dumb conks that we call officers, can't mean officers. I'm trying to find another word that suits them. 3 hours. Happy independence. the Americans flew for 3 hours over one particular area of Sandy Point, and the Defense Force couldn't find Sandy Point 3 hours later. But the Americans stayed on it, that the person that's supposed to pick them up, he saw the Americans in the air, and he didn't go there. That's how they catch them 64. Because if it wasn't for the American airplane, 100 of them would have been voting in the next election. That's Brave and Frankie Cousins. They were coming to vote. They're voting in North Abaco. They was going to vote in South Abaco, so I'm not worried about them. But that shows you the weightlessness of this progressive Liberal Party government. That they've already decided among themselves that they're going to have a no voting bloc, because they know the Bahamians is not stupid enough to vote for them. But what they don't know is that the first generations of Haitians is not going to vote for them either. They know what they're doing, and they are not happy with 70,000 more Haitians in Abaco. They're voting for Kai. And they're shy, and they're ashamed, and they're afraid to say that they're voting for Kai, because they know that Kai will bring good governance. Happy independence for those of you who were there to celebrate with Brave Davis, who at this point is the worst prime minister in the history of a modern-day Bahamas. 52 years, Brave Davis and his administration is the worse than Minnis. So you know they're bad. They're damn bad if they're worse than Minnis. So far, Brave has the baton as the worst prime minister in 52 years of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. You all celebrate that. I won't celebrate with him. You all celebrate with him. Kai Case.